Well, hello, everybody. God bless you. And let me let this video start. And this is going to be an English broadcast. Now, let me make sure that I'm transmitting here. Give me a few minutes. Okay. And I hope you can all hear me today. All righty. Okay, 1 second here. Okay, looks like we're live now, right? Okay, yes. All right. Okay, guys. So this is going to be an English video. It's going to be a live broadcast in English. And it's very rare that I do these. My channel's primarily a Spanish speaking channel. And let me make sure that everyone can hear me. Give me a second here, folks. Can you guys hear me? Okay. All right, guys. Well, as you guys know, my channel is primarily a Spanish speaking channel. It's a Christian apologetics channel where we deal with different issues. We answer questions. I deal with things primarily from an apologetic perspective, philosophy, theology, linguistics, things that pertain to the Greek grammar. And also, we dabble with the Hebrew here and there and other languages, Latin if we need to. It deals with exegesis and different areas. Can you guys hear me? Okay, so the majority of my audience is Spanish speaking people. But today I wanted to do this broadcast in English. And there's a reason why. I do not expect to have as many viewers in this broadcast in English as I do in Spanish. But I wanted to at least try to communicate this to the English speaking people of the Light of the World Church, of la luz del mundo. And so I'm not sure how many people are going to log on or join us today, but I will explain why I am doing this in a bit here. Okay, give me a second here. I have a bunch of stuff open here. Las malas conversaciones, Raquel Haifa, God bless you. How are you, Raquel? Ignacio Paredes, God bless you. Okay, so let's let a couple of people sign on, and then we will begin. Okay, guys? 1 second. Okay. All right, guys. Well, let me talk a little bit about myself because I'm sure there's going to be people here that have never heard of the Light of the World, especially if they're English speakers, um, or who I am. The Spanish world's familiar with me. Okay, so there's a Mexican cult called La Luz del Mundo that I have been studying for over, I think it's 30 years now. In 1999 or 2000, I published a book on La Luz del Mundo, comparing their theological statements, hymnology, things that they say, and compared it with, well, I should say I found out that it's an ancient form of Gnosticism. Their theology, their hymnology specifically, where they sing to an apostle, is ancient Gnosticism. It's not a new revelation. I know they say it's a new revelation, but it's not. You find this with an individual named Mani in my book. I also, I should say, I wrote a book on La Luz del Mundo, published in I think it was, I think it was 1999 or 2000. I think it was 2000. You know, the years pass and I start a blur. Everything's just a blur now. You know, time flies by. But in that book is where I did the comparison of their La Luz del Mundo hymnology with ancient Gnosticism and documented a lot of the things that they say in this cult, which the majority of the people have no idea what this cult is. And I'll try to explain a little bit for the English speaking people just to get an idea of what they teach. I can't talk about everything they say because it's just a lot of stuff. And maybe if you're interested, I could do that in the future. Okay, in more detail. I have received emails from people asking me what this church teaches. Oh, okay, well, where do I start? But well, I'll give a brief outline, a brief sketch, okay? And I'm just going to go straight for what they teach. The Light of the World Church, it's called La Luz del Mundo, originated in Guadalajara, Mexico. And it's over 100 years old. And they've had 3 leaders. Their first leader was the grandparent of Nason Joaquin Garcia, who's now in prison here in Chino, California for all sorts of violations. His name was Eusebio, changed his name to Aaron. Second leader is named Samuel, who's the father of Nason Joaquin. He passed away, and now it's Nason Joaquin, and he is in prison. He declared himself guilty for charges having to do with, well, just really bad things to children. Anyway, as far as their theology, which is really where my strongest area is, their theology basically is that he is a man here on earth who is not God, but has all the powers of God. Let me repeat that. The Light of the World Church sees Nason as an ordinary man who has all the powers and all the properties and attributes of absolute deity. Communicable attributes and incommunicable attributes. What does that mean? Well, God shares properties with us. For example, love, he can reason, we can reason, properties that he can share. But God also has incommunicable properties like omnipotence. He's all powerful. Omniscience. He's all knowing. Omnibenevolence. He's all loving. Omnipresence. He's everywhere. God does not share those properties with anyone. But in the Light of the World Church, their belief is that God did share those properties with their leader, Nason Joaquin Garcia. They believe that Nason is omnipresent. They believe he can read your mind. They believe that God solely speaks through him. They believe that whatever comes out of his mouth, it's God speaking. Therefore, since God cannot lie, Nason cannot lie. And if God asks you to do something, and it's Nason that is asking you, that is like God asking you. So they will never turn away what Nason is saying because they believe with all their heart it is God. These people are completely brainwashed. They believe it with all their heart. So, as I was studying this cult, I realized, well, their doctrine, their theology is completely whacked. Completely, it's a whole unique cult. And I study a lot of cults, but this cult's very unique. But as I was studying this cult, I realized that there were other aspects popping up over and over again. And these things were not theological necessarily, but they went into the criminal aspect. And that's when everything just started going crazy with this, when my investigations on this cult. Well, long story short, you can see what happened with Nason. Okay. People believe that if they bring their children to Nason or to their apostles, they will be blessed. It's a special blessing upon you. You can leave your children with Nason because it will be an honor and a privilege how they see it. And you will be blessed. And now we know what happened in a lot of these situations where you leave a child with a person, especially a grown man, unattended. Oh my goodness, it's just a recipe for disaster with unlimited power, with omnipotence, omniscience, everything, God. Can you imagine? Well, that's pretty much what happened in this cult. And several victims have vocalized and expressed the things that happened to them, horrible things. And that's when Nason ended up pleading guilty. There's videos out there, there's evidence, and it's a very long story. I encourage you to look at the documentaries that are out. There's some documentaries that are out. You could look up on Netflix and cable. There's already several of them, especially in Spanish. It's too much for me to describe in one video. That wasn't the intent for me to make this video today. Like I said, maybe someday I'll get my notes together, get an outline, and just go over everything they teach. And it's very bizarre. Very bizarre. Okay. So back in 1995, 95, I think it was 95. I was doing research on cults, and I still do. I still do, but I have my full-time job, and I just don't have the time to do it as I'd like to do it. But back in 1995, we had heard, and when I say we, I'm referring to Ricardo Becerra and myself. Ricardo Becerra was the president of the Centro de Investigaciones Religiosas, a Center for Religious Research. And we were here in California. And right now it's kind of we're taking a break. There's just too many things going on right now. But hopefully we can pick that up again when I retire. So we had heard that there was a cult in Mexico, a cult who claimed to have an apostle, a cult where they sang praises to this apostle. Okay. Where the apostle was believed to have all the powers of God. Okay, well, I'm always interested in that. So we took a trip to Guadalajara. We got our hotel, and I remember that we caught a taxi cab to Hermosa Provincia, which is a little like a colony there in Guadalajara. In that area, at least back then, the center of their temple, all the streets lead to the same temple, kind of like the spokes of a rim, and the hub is the temple, huge temple. Something you really should look into if you're interested about this cult. Anyway, so I remember when I got off the car, the taxi cab, and I remember seeing a lot of women with their heads covered out on the street, gentlemen on their knees, just near benches and wherever. And I remember that all these streets lead to the same temple, and all these streets had gigantic speakers attached to poles, trees. I mean, you name it. There were speakers everywhere. And these speakers were transmitting the service from the speaker from the pulpit of La Luz del Mundo. Very emphatic, making typical Pentecostal, type of service, if you know what I'm talking about, loud singing. Well, actually not singing. Well, they did sing, but there's no music. That's another thing. All their hymns are a cappella. They do not use instruments. Okay, so as I'm walking in this street, I don't recall the name of the street, but I do recall hearing the speaker from the pulpit say the following things. Samuel Joaquin. He said, Samuel Joaquin, conforme a la fe de los cogidos, conforming to those that are chosen, not by man, nor of man, but by Jesus Christ. Cristo que lo ha levantado. I'm trying to go by memory. He has all the characteristics and attributes of God. That's what he said. Tiene toda la potestad de Dios. This was all in Spanish. He has all the attributes of God. Well, that immediately slapped me in my face. What did I just hear? What did this guy just say? He said that their leader has all the attributes of God. Well, anyone who studies basic theology immediately is going to have a red flag raised up in their head and say, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Who has all the attributes of God? Because only God has all the attributes of God, for those that don't know. So, right away, I think of omniscience, omnipotence, and omnibenevolence, and all these attributes, right, that only God has. So I said, so who has these attributes of God? And he says, Samuel Joaquin. He has la potestad para redimir, the attribute to redeem you, to justify you. And if you know theology, it's Christ that justifies us. His blood, his sacrificial work on the cross. Romans 3, we're justified by faith. Anyway, so I'm hearing this, right? And I'm just, wow. Okay, so this guy Samuel justifies you. He redeems you. That's another thing. Redeems. Who redeems you guys? Come on. So yeah, basically he's taking all the spots and all the titles that apply to Christ and the work of Christ, the finished work of Christ. Everything that belongs to Christ is given to their leader. Okay. The power to sanctify churches. He's the one that sanctifies them, that cleans them. The attribute to govern churches, and the power and attribute to give us salvación y vida eterna, to give us salvation and eternal life. Now, excuse me if I'm manipulating that. I'm trying to translate as I'm remembering. I mean, I can still hear the tones in my head. I can hear the people screaming. It's as I'm recalling this right now, I'm hearing it in my head. It's just like if I was there again. The crowd was just roaring in excitement. Everyone's excited. And when he said these words, they shouted even louder. And I said, what in the world are they saying to their leader in this cult? What are they saying? Wow. Wow. I couldn't believe it. So we walked around the area there, and I picked up a book, hymn book from La Luz del Mundo. And my partner, Ricardo, also picked one up, and we started reading them. And we read all night. And as I was reading the hymn books, my jaw just hit the ground again. I couldn't believe it. And I told my partner, hey, these guys are completely brainwashed. They believe this. The things that they're saying to this man, these are things that are only, should only be spoken about God, but they're applying it to Samuel Joaquin, their apostle. There's a lot of theological problems with this, but of course, you can see what can happen here, right? You're giving all the power to a man, the power that belongs solely to God. And they believe God gave him this power on earth because he is God's spokesman. He's the only one in the entire earth that speaks for God. And if you want to be saved, yeah, you trust in Jesus, but if you don't have their leader, you're going to go to hell. Wait a minute. So if you trust in Jesus, but you don't have their leader, you will end up in hell, right? They say yes. Well, how about if you have your leader and don't have Jesus? They say, well, you'll end up in hell too. So, okay. Let me get this straight. So do I need two saviors? Well, they will never admit that. But in reality, that's what you have in La Luz del Mundo. You need their leader and you need Jesus. And hold on one second. Okay. And I'm sorry, guys, that it just every time I make these videos, people are texting me, and sometimes it's relevant to what I'm doing right now. Okay. So, okay. So we were up all night in the hotel studying their hymn books, and I told my partner and we actually we were having discussion, and we said, you know what, these guys are so fanatical. They will do anything, whatever this guy asks, they will do it. And I said, why don't we form some questions, and maybe we could meet with some of these guys tomorrow and ask them some questions. You know what? My partner and we came to the conclusion that these guys would do absolutely anything for their leader. When I mean anything, I mean anything. Give me your daughter, whatever. Give me your wife. They will do anything. So the next day, we went back into Hermosa Provincia, walking around, and of course, they were following us. Just so you know, this it's a little community. Everyone knows you're there. They're videotaping you. You have people following you. Uh, you are not. It's very obvious that people are watching you. You could see when you look at everybody's face, they're just into their service. They're into the service. I look at this face, he's into the service. I look at this face, service, and I look at a face, complete cold stare, just looking at you from far away. Okay, that guy's looking at me. So that guy, you could tell who are the people who are there to just monitor you, and that's what cults do. It's very easy to spot them. Okay, so we ended up meeting some members from La Luz del Mundo, 4 members. And these people are always willing to talk to you because they're so convinced that they have the truth, and they also want to convince you. They also want to convince you. Okay. So, okay. So we met with these individuals. We were in a room and we're talking. And my partner asked the question, and I'm recording. I'm the guy with the video camera. That's why it's all shaky, because I'm not a professional videographer. I'm really a researcher is what I am. But hey, somebody's got to hold the camera. So, okay. All right. I'm going to have a guest here in a bit. It's going to be good, guys. It's going to get good. Okay. 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 Hold on. Okay. So what happened after that? Ricardo was there. That's my partner. And he was dialoguing with them, and one of them was you could tell he was older and was more like their leader, I guess. He had more time, and the other members, 3 of them were younger, but all of them had over 20 years in the Luz del Mundo. So Ricardo says, hey, let me ask you a question. Says, sure. If your leader were to ask you, if your leader were to say, hey, God spoke to me last night, he revealed to me, I am your apostle. As your apostle, you will obey me. He did reveal something to me. God spoke to me last night, and God told me that you will be in his presence tonight. But in order for you to get to his presence, you need to drink this poison and commit suicide. Would you do it? Well, that was a heavy question, right? And at this point, we're just testing the level of fanaticism in the cult. And the elder there says, oh, that would never happen. Oh, that's absurd. But Ricardo continues and presses on. Well, I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying if this happened, if your leader were to ask you to take this poison so that you can be to the Lord, because the Lord is asking for you. The Lord spoke to me. I am your apostle. The Lord spoke to me, and the Lord is asking for you, and he wants you to be in his presence. I'm your apostle, the apostle of God. God speaks through me. In order for you to get to him, you need to consume this poison. Would you do it? Well, we went on and on and on. And of course, they said, no, that's absurd. Never happened. And Ricardo kept pressing. Well, I'm just saying if a conditional, supposing Supposing, well, he would never do that, but supposing he did, well, that just would never happen. Let's just say, supposing he did, what would you do? Well, supposing he did, it would be the last thing ever he would ever ask. And Ricardo continues and says, well, let's suppose we just got to that last thing that he ever did. And this is the last thing he is asking you to consume this poison. Would you do it? And I kid you not, this gentleman from La Luz del Mundo looks up and he looks at us, looks at Ricardo, and he says, well, it would be the most absurd thing he ever did. But if he did, yeah, I would do it. I couldn't believe it. And I was just making sure that the camera was recording. Did I get this on video? And then Ricardo asked the second individual, would you do it? He said, I don't know if he would ever, but if he would, I would. And then he asked the third guy, how about you? Would you do it? And he goes, yep, I would do it. And my jaw is I'm just blown away by this. And then he asked the last guy, how about you? Would you do it? And this guy says, you know, this is the most illogical thing someone could ever ask of us, that our leader would even ask such a thing. It's illogical. Would you do it? And then this guy says, you know, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know what I would do. I don't know if I would take it or not. I don't know what I would do. That's what he said. And then he says, why would I say yes or no? I don't know what I would do. At that moment, I looked at the faces of the other guys, and they just looked at him like, you're a weakling. You're not a true follower of the light of the world church. But when I saw that guy say that, in my mind, I said, this guy still has hope, because he could still think for himself. He can still reason. He could still use some form of logic in his head. It just doesn't sound right. And he was right. It doesn't sound right. I don't know what happened to that individual. Well, after that, do you guys remember the incident in San Diego, Texas, here in California, with the Heaven's Gate cult, when several members committed suicide? Yep. Well, in Mexico, there was a gentleman by the name of Ederling, and back then he was a researcher. And they asked him, the media asked him if there are any groups in Mexico that have the potential to do what the Heaven's Gate cult did here in California. And he said, yes, there's actually a group here in Mexico called the Light of the World Church that shows characteristics that are capable of doing these type of things. And they said, what? And then this researcher advises the media over there that this is it's based on a work of two people here in California. That was Ricardo and I. That was our video. So we sent them a copy of the video. The video made international news. It was nationwide. It just exploded. Well, that's when a lot of pressure came to the Luz del Mundo. This was their first wave back in 95, 96. I think it was 95. And then people started coming out and started alleging things about Samuel Joaquin, very similar to the things that are being alleged of Nason Joaquin. So, and we actually we have a recording, and I have it on my YouTube channel, of Marta Serna, was one of the first persons that we interviewed. And that video is there in my channel for anyone who wants to see it, where she relays what happened to her. And that is when I started hearing about the abuses of the Light of the World Church. But I'm remembering something. There was another individual that I had a meeting with before Marta Serna. This individual, I have it on audio too. I recorded it. It's on my YouTube channel for anybody who wants to see it. It's in Spanish. This gentleman's name is Moises Padilla. And Moises Padilla was alleging all sorts of sexual crimes against him by leaders including Samuel, of the Light of the World Church. He was describing tunnels underneath the temple in Guadalajara. He was describing assault weapons, and I mean, I'm a guns guy. You could see I got my Glock shirt on. I'm a gun guy, but he's describing assault. He's describing AK-47s or AR-15s. He's describing high capacity magazines. He's describing also in Mexico. I mean, these weapons are illegal in Mexico, and he remembers as a boy going into a secret chamber under the desk or by the desk of Samuel Joaquin in his pastoral office. He recalls there were stairs that go down a tunnel. The tunnels lead underneath the temple of the Light of the World Church in Guadalajara. And he remembers different compartments in rooms. And in one of those rooms, he saw lines and lines and rows of assault weapons. Well, he goes on. If you ever hear his testimony, he also explains about how he was touched improperly by their leader. And he came out and declared he was becoming public. This is before the internet. Well, maybe the internet was out, but it wasn't available very much. But there was no internet like there is today. There was no Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. So the social media wasn't really active back then. I don't even know if it existed. As a matter of fact, I as soon as it came out, I was one of the few people that was doing apologetics already in social media. And I know Matt Slick. Matt Slick's been doing it longer than I have. Okay, so when Moises Padilla came out and gave some descriptions of what had happened to him, mysteriously, a group of individuals jumped him and stabbed him numerous times, and they left him for dead. And this stabbing happened after my interview with him. I'm not sure exactly how long after, but I know that I had spoken to Moises Padilla was prior to this horrible incident that happened to him where people stabbed him. And after hearing Moises Padilla, he strongly believes that these were members of the Light of the World Church that attacked him because he was speaking bad about their apostle. And he's been out in public. He came out in the media speaking about this, but he's still available and he's still there if anybody wants to question him and get his testimony. I'm sure he can give you a lot more precise information than I can right now because I'm going by memory and it's been a very long time. Okay, so that's when we started seeing things coming out, the criminal aspect of the Light of the World Church. Okay, and now I don't want to take up all your time, but now with Nason Joaquin in jail, I mean, it's just really come out. All sorts of people, leaders from this cult. You have this gentleman Coronado right now that's going through trial for the same thing. You have other people that from the Light of the World Church who have been accused of this. You have victims that are becoming public. One thing is that they can't be as vocal as they'd like to because they receive a lot of intimidation. And some of these victims still have family members in the cult. And if they come out and speak against the cult, then they will suffer shunning. They will no longer speak to them. So they don't want to lose their family. They don't want to lose their wives and kids and children. So that's why a lot of people don't talk. Okay. Ooh, that was a long time, guys. I know it took me a long time, but I wanted to give some information here, okay? All right. So before I continue to get to the main point of this video, let me look at the comments here. Maybe I can say hi to some people, okay? Give me a second. Okay, I said hi to Raquel Haifa. How are you? Ignacio, how are you? Aida Lopez, God bless you. Luis Hernandez, hello. Fulanito de Tal, hello. Greens Mopar, that's my YouTube channel. Jose Francisco Jimenez, saludos cordiales a todos en la audiencia. He's saying hi to everyone. God bless you, brother. La verdadera luz. Okay, greetings. And they're saying hi and their greetings mostly in Spanish. Light of the World Church is a Mexican cult, and so there's a lot of Spanish speakers. Mineco Maciano, hello. God bless all you guys. Carlos de Verón, tonight we played live in English. That's right, sir. That's correct. Elvia Mejia, God bless you. Cassius, hello. all to all you guys, okay? Let me see here. Maria Eugenia, God bless you. And then Raquel said you should talk about the Abraham Coronado's trial. Maybe, but I wanted to do something. Maybe I will, but I definitely wanted to reach out to these people. Biblia en contexto. How are you, brother? You are awesome, man, brother. Keep up the work. Great job. Your videos. May God open lose el mundo's eyes in Jesus' name. Amen, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you. God bless you. We done. Let me see here. All right, guys. Thank you for all. Give me 1 second here, guys. So I need to because I'm going to invite a special guest right now. All right. So 1 second here because I'm making all kinds of clicking all kinds of stuff here, guys. So there's something I want to tell you. Okay, just bear with me. Man, they're lighting fireworks all over the place right now, huh, guys? Okay, so the other day, a week ago, I received a call from a producer. Okay, and I do receive a lot of calls from people, from producers and, people that are researching and stuff like that. And, okay, hold on, guys. I don't want to mess this up here. And this, oh my goodness, 1 second, guys. I'm making a mistake here. Bear with me, guys. I'm sorry. I gotta send this thing here to invite this gentleman here. Okay. Okay, so this producer, I met up with this producer at a Starbucks. And we had a coffee there, hanging out. And I already knew this producer. And he wanted to talk about some things. Okay. And he is going to this producer, this gentleman, he's working on a series of high-end professional documentaries. Okay. Documentaries. And they are on the Light of the World Church. And they are in English. And I said, wow, that's good. And he was showing me some clips of it because he already has some of it, made already. It looks very nice. Sounds very good. Looks professional. It is professional. And this is going to be a series. It's going to go for a while, my understanding. So there's going to be a lot of information in these documentaries. Okay, so he asked me something. He asked me, first of all, before that, and they're lighting fireworks out here. It's almost the 4th of July. So I heard from this gentleman that he couldn't even get one member of the Light of the World Church to step up to the plate and appear in the documentary and represent the Light of the World Church or say something positive on behalf of Nason or say something positive on behalf of the Light of the World Church or anything. He was there. Brother Joel, how are you?
Hola, hola, brother. Muy bien. Aquí estamos.
Muy bien. ¿Puedes hablar en inglés, brother? Porque lo estoy haciendo en inglés para los the English speakers.
Yes, of course.
Okay. So I'm just recalling right now how I met with the producer who makes documentaries and is working on several high-end documentaries. And he was telling me that he could find no one from the Light of the World Church, a representative, a pastor, a teacher, a member, absolutely no one who was willing to step up to the plate and appear in this documentary. And he was telling me that they're welcome to say whatever they want. They can speak good about Nason or favorable. They could speak favorable about La Luz del Mundo. They could speak about doctrine. They could speak about if they think something's unfair. They could say whatever they want. But he said that not even one person from the Light of the World was willing to show up and appear in his documentaries. Now, I find that incredible. What do you think about that, brother?
Well, I don't find it strange or out of usual,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a custom within the non-written parameters of public relations or media relations in La Luz del Mundo to not allow anybody to speak in the name of the church or to speak freely, without being first instructed how to answer the questions or how to deliver a message to the public, because they fear that any person that is not prepared to respond to any question about any topic about La Luz del Mundo, could be any doctrinal issue or could be any conduct of the leaders or even members of the church, they are not free to speak out. So in some interviews that I have seen, like in Milenio or any other media, when they interview a person in the streets, they're not really random people, people that is around. You stay here in this corner and they look casual to you are walking by, but they're gonna answer, question you this, and you should respond exactly this. That's why almost all the responses from the members, anyone, is like a cookie cutter, a response, because they are actually instructed to answer. I remember when the scandal about Nason came out in the media, they were very, very afraid that the videos would be shown in public, the pornographic videos that Nason himself made in his iPhone and his computers. They having big fear that if one of those or many of those videos were made public, a lot of members would fail in their beliefs and disregard any message from the church, because then they began to prepare in small groups with specialists that taught them that it was very possible that those videos would be deep fakes, and they even put experts, so-called experts, to teach them how to spot a deep fake. Oh, look at this. This is the president. I remember they put one, I don't remember who was, but it was a very public person speaking some message that they knew that they were false, they were false statements. And they say, see, if they can do this with these public figures, imagine what an evil person would do about the apostle. So they don't allow anybody, not even ministers, not even the public media people, the people in charge, like Eliezer Gutierrez or Moises, Nicolás Menchaca, Gilberto Garcia, even Rogelio Zamora. They are first, briefed in how to respond, because they don't want to commit any mistake that leads the people to lose their, their faith in their leader. So it's going to be very hard to find somebody that really comes out unless it's first prepared by the media people, in La Luz del Mundo.
So who makes that call? Who determines who can speak and who cannot speak? Is it the bishops, the obispos, or?
Well, the Council of Bishops is just a puppet group, but within that group there are certain people that really holds the power, and I kind of identify them. One of them is Rogelio Zamora Barradas. Is one of the main, puppeteers of the Council of Bishops. The other one is Eliezer Gutierrez, because of his closeness to the leadership, and Nicolás Menchaca, because Nicolás Menchaca is the one that holds most of the confidence from Nason, since he was his pupil from the beginning, of his leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So those people, 3 or 4 people at most, are the ones that can authorize somebody to speak out. And usually they will assign or appoint a person that is not high level, it's like a disposable, disposable spokesman.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he commits a mistake, they can say, oh, he wasn't really the top guy to answer this question. He not the appropriate, he wasn't
Yeah.
prepared. So they can come up with a different response to suit their intentions for the message.
Yeah, that way they can wipe their hands from them, and
Yes,
they can say, no, well, he's not representing us,
exactly.
Okay. Wow. So for those of you that are watching this, you may not know, but Joel Silva, our guest here, he was Luz del Mundo for many, 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 many years. He's one of the architects that helped design the temple, the main temple in Guadalajara. And interestingly, he was there when we interviewed those 4 members of La Luz del Mundo who came out on video and said they were willing to commit suicide. This gentleman, he was there and he remembers that. Right, Joel?
Yeah, I was like a listener, I wasn't involved in the conversation, but I was trying to see what they say, and try to hold up any mistake, but it didn't work at all. So after in the scandals of 1997 against Samuel Joaquin Flores, I was appointed as a PR guy to defend precisely Samuel Joaquin in the media. So that was my role in those days, in the days of the scandal of 1997, because they noticed that I was getting interviewed with a lot of media people in Guadalajara, and I was very, very easy, talking to defend Samuel. Because let me tell you why I was so freely, I wasn't afraid of talking or speaking in the media or any place, because I really believed in the innocence of Samuel Joaquin
Mm-hmm.
at those times. I didn't know what was behind the scenes. I didn't know all the secret life that he was, conducting behind walls. I didn't know about the abuses to the unconditionals. I wasn't even aware that the abuse that my first wife, suffered by Samuel, because she was under an oath, an oath to not tell me anything. Because if she would tell me something, she will, be responsible for my condemnation, the condemnation of herself, and even the condemnation of her children. So it was under a very, how to call when they close your mouth?
Tight-lipped, very tight-lipped.
Tight-lipped, yes.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. So today, I remember back then in those days there was a gentleman. I think his name was Nunez. He was a spokesperson. Nunez.
Daniel Núñez, yes.
Daniel Nunez.
Avalos.
Yes, he was one, and there was another gentleman who was also very vocal at that time. He
Oh,
would come.
it was, there were 3 of us in those times. One was Daniel Núñez was the main one.
Mm-hmm.
The second one was, it's a pastor.
Oreste Sanchez.
Jose Oreste Sanchez.
Yes, it just came to me. Oreste Sanchez. That
Yeah,
was another
I
guy.
sent you once a picture where we are, conferring how to respond to the media. Is
Mm-hmm.
Jose Oreste Sanchez,
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Núñez, and myself
You.
right
Mm-hmm.
there.
So, okay, so the church, I know Silem Garcia is a spokesman, right? Is he an official spokesman for La Luz del Mundo?
Well, he hasn't been demoted officially, but definitely, practically, he is demoted from his position because of the scandal about the
Oh, yeah.
assassination of Silvia Orozco.
That's another thing. There was a member that was assassinated right down the street from the temple. And well, the rumor is she was about to speak and come out and say something, but that's just hearsay. That's what we hear. But it so happens that this woman that was murdered was having an affair with this gentleman, Silem, who was a spokesman of the Light of the World Church. And
Well,
all
it wasn't really an affair. It was a continued relationship for many years.
But he's a married man though, correct?
Yeah, he's a married man.
Okay.
With
All right.
children.
All right. Wow. Okay. So, Joel, let me run some names by you, and you tell me if any of these names, any of these persons, if you think they're qualified to come out on this documentary. And all they have to do is contact me. I'm going to put the link up here. Contact me. I'm going to give you my email, and then I'm going to give you this producer's phone number and his name, and then you will call him. You from the Light of the World Church. You will call him, and you set it up. And you can go there and you can come out on this documentary. This is why is this important? Because in the Light of the World Church, what their leadership says is, oh, well, we were not fairly represented. Oh, we didn't get to express our side. How come we don't express our side? Why is it only people that are speaking against the church? How come there's no one from our side? We were never invited. Well, this is your opportunity. I'm going to give you this connection so that you can appear in this documentary and so that you can say what you think is the truth, so that you can express what your doctrine is about your leadership, about Nason. If you want to talk about his case, you want to talk about the videos, whatever. Or if you just want to say, he's God on earth or whatever you want to say, he's the best thing since, whatever. If that's what you want to say, that's fine. But so that way you can't say, well, this is a biased documentary because they didn't interview any members of the Light of the World Church. This producer has been trying to get a hold. He's been trying to get a hold of anyone from the Light of the World Church, anyone, leadership. It doesn't matter. Anyone who is willing to step up to the plate and stand up for their leader. Because in your cult, you guys always say, we will do anything for our leader. I will do anything, whatever my leader says until the end. Well, your leader needs someone to speak for him, needs someone to speak in their favor. Anyone from your church. I mean, this is where you can say, this is the best church in the world because, X or YZ or whatever. Nason's the greatest thing in the world because XYZ, whatever. You can speak whatever you want to speak. That's what the producer told me to tell you guys. They can say whatever they want. They want to see your side. So in a bit, I'm going to put the link up here because I want to record this. I want to record the person that's going to step up to the plate because I'm going to give you this contact information. And then you're going to call this producer and you're going to say, hey, I want to come out on this documentary because I want to speak in favor of Nason Joaquin, or I want to speak about the church doctrines, or I just want to say, whatever. Okay. So I want to run some names by you, Joel, and tell me if they ring a bell to you. And you tell me if you think these people are able, they speak, first of all, do they speak English? Because the producer wants to do it in English. And are these people that are out in the front, are they vocal? Are they people that represent the church, right? Here's the first name. You ready?
Yes.
Samuel Gray. Who is that?
Samuel Gray is a pastor in La Luz del Mundo. It's a very close person to the Joaquin family. He's related to a Coronado, by the way.
Which Coronado? The one that's
his wife is from the Coronado family. The wife of Samuel Gray.
Okay, and we're going to get
back
to
the family.
Oh my goodness! So we're going to get back to Coronado right now. Joel's going to give us an update about that. But okay, that's something to keep in mind. There's these people; they're all tied in. They know each other. They're related, so they're all tied in one way or another. Okay. So, do you think Samuel Gray is capable of coming out in this documentary and standing up for Nason or answering some questions or just expressing something in favor of La Luz del Mundo?
Yeah, he should. He should speak out because when they are in the pulpits of the temples, they are very brave. They defend with their life. They say the honorability of Nason, but when it comes to public expressing their beliefs, they shut up.
They stay quiet, huh? Okay.
It's quiet, yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask Samuel Gray. Mr. Gray, if you're willing to come out on this documentary, I spoke to this producer and he is looking for any representative from the Light of the World Church that is willing to come out in public and, you can express your views on La Luz del Mundo, on, quote unquote, the innocence of Nason, whatever you want to do. You're welcome. All you have to do is you do have to show up here though, because I want to record this. I want to make sure I have this documented. Okay. because I'm going to give you this contact information. So I'm going to put up a link in a bit, and you're gonna join us here on this in this Zoom meeting, and I'm going to give you his information. Okay. All right. So that was for Samuel Gray. Maybe he'll step up. What about Jack Friedman? Who's that?
Well, Jack Freeman is a new era pastor, converted in Redland, California, if I don't recall bad. He was a bank employer, a teller. That's what I know. He was a teller, and he was converted. And well, he saw the opportunity to be more than a teller, all of his life. And the church gladly accept him as a minister because he has the presence of an Anglo guy that speaks perfect English and have some background in the scriptures. So, and he manages very well, and his demeanor is very professional. So they are giving him a lot of slack in the public relations. And the light of the world is using him as a PR guy because he's always in all the meetings with officials, politicians, government officials, to establish a rapport with the authorities in every location where the Luz del Mundo has a temple or a community.
Wow, this guy sounds perfect. Mr. Jack Friedman, I'm asking you, if you're willing to step up to the plate, join us on this Zoom meeting right here. And I'm going to give you the contact information for this producer. Then you will contact him and you guys schedule an interview so that you can come out in this documentary representing the church and representing Nason, or say whatever you want to say. But somebody please say something, because this just looks horrible. There's not even one member of the Light of the World Church that's willing to come out. So I've done a video like this in Spanish. Nothing. All I got was crickets. So I'm trying English now. Okay, that's what I'm trying. Okay, so those guys, they definitely could do something like that, how they can do this type of work. Okay, what about, let me see, give me a second here, guys. Give me 1 second, Joel. Okay, I'm seeing some images here, huh? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I sent you the image in one of the interviews with TV Azteca in Mexico in 1997. We were preparing to answer some questions, very hard questions, because the leader was being spotted in the media very badly, So Samuel instructed us to go to Mexico City and talk with the media and try to do damage control with the media.
Okay, so there's people in the Light of the World Church that have experience doing this kind of stuff. These are the perfect people for this program, I'm telling you. All right, so Mr. Friedman, Mr. Gray, the invitation's out there. How about Joram Joaquin? Who's that?
Joram Joaquin is the son of Daniel Núñez Ábalos, the spokesperson for the church, international spokesperson. Joram is a lawyer by career. I don't know if he's licensed, but he was one of the main guys that used to go after the victims and make them sign a document, like a disclosure, and disclosure of that they haven't been hurt or in any way by the church or the leadership. So he was going to every one of the victims. So this is a question very interesting, If there were not victims, how come they knew who to make sign those documents and with what purpose?
Why them?
It's like buying coffins, Hey, why are you buying coffins if there's no dead people,
Yeah. Well, so Joram Joaquin, if he's an attorney, then that sounds like another qualified guy to come out on this documentary.
An attorney.
Yeah. So Mr. Gray, Mr. Friedman, and Joram Joaquin, if you guys are willing, you come in. I will treat you with respect. I will give you the link and I will give you the contact information. You set it up so that you can come out on this documentary. It's going to be a huge documentary. I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a lot of people on this one, and it's going to be a series. And if ever La Luz del Mundo needs someone to represent them and show at least a side of the Light of the World Church, it would be this one. So hopefully you guys, you guys step up to the plate. and represent. Okay. All right. So we have those three guys there, Gray, Friedman, and Joaquin. How about Silverio Coronado?
Yeah.
That's another
Silverio
guy, huh?
Coronado is the most trusted guy, and he's a pastor too. Very high level pastor with all the confidence, because there was according to the Jane Doe's, he was the orchestrator and the provider, the logistic manager to provide the locations for the meetings of Nason with his victims in Los
Wow.
Angeles area.
Wow.
So, and he's of the Coronado family too.
He's
He's,
related to the Coronado that's going through in
yes,
trial right
he's
now.
his uncle. Yeah, he's the uncle of
Oh,
Abraham Coronado.
oh, these guys are all tied in. Okay, so Silverio Coronado sounds like a high-end guy. So he speaks English too, correct?
Oh, he should. I don't know. I never have heard him,
Okay,
speaking in
but
English, but he may at least understand.
yeah, and even if he doesn't, they can always translate for him. So Silverio Coronado, if you are here and if you want to come out on this documentary and represent Nason or represent the Light of the World Church or the teachings, or whatever you want to say, if you want to say something positive about the Light of the World Church that's going to come out in a documentary, this is your opportunity. So that way you guys don't say, well, no one ever asked us, or we never had the opportunity. That documentary is biased because they didn't show the other side. Well, the producer is looking for anyone from the other side and no one's coming out. They don't want to come out. So maybe Silverio Coronado, Mr. Joaquin, Mr. Friedman, Mr. Gray, somebody please stand up to somebody. Come on, guys. All right. How about Luis Cruz? Who's that?
Luis Cruz is another trusted guy from Nason. I don't know exactly his involvement, but I know he's part of the ministry too.
Okay. He's trusted from Nason, huh?
Yes, he's
Okay.
trusted from Nason.
Okay, Luis Cruz, then this one's for you. If you want to come out, the same invitation is extended to you. How about Oscar Gonzalez?
Yeah, Oscar Gonzalez is another high-level pastor, very trusted by Samuel and also by Nason. And I say trusted by Samuel and Nason because Samuel would never send somebody as a pastor to the East LA church unless he had his total confidence in his discretion about his secret life, and the trust. He would trust somebody that would cover any bad news or bad anything that would come out for any victim. He knew that the man that he would send to East LA would cover up. So that's why, and Oscar was a pastor in East LA for many years.
So he should know what's up with the Light of the World Church doctrine, and he can speak for Nason.
Actually, he's now a pastor in Gainesville, Georgia, very close to the intended project, the scam that La Luz del Mundo is preparing. Even now, they continue adamantly to pursue the project because they know that anyways this project goes, good or bad, they always win. If they win the case against the city of Flowery Branch, and they overpower the political forces right there or the community involvement, they will come out with this so-called city La Luz del Mundo, Ciudad La Luz del Mundo, and they will profit enormously, from the construction, from the selling of the lots, everything. And if everything is denied and the government doesn't allow to do anything there, they win because they're gonna keep the land. They're gonna keep the properties. And that money that was invested by the members in those lots and those acreage of land never will be back to the legal owners, or the people that was collecting money to buy that lot.
So what will happen?
It's a win-win situation for the Joaquin.
Yeah. Either way, they're going to make money.
Yeah.
What do they do with that money?
Well, they use it for themselves, it goes to our inheritances That's why the Joaquin reproduce like rabbits, because they know that they need people to inherit the properties of the church.
Wow. Okay, so we have Oscar Gonzalez, and so we have Mr. Samuel Gray, Mr. Jack Friedman, Mr. Joram Joaquin, Silverio Coronado, Luis Cruz, Oscar Gonzalez, any one of you guys. As soon as I put up the link, I'm really hoping one of these big wigs will show up here so that we can share this information with them so they can come out.
Another guy that could be a good defender of Nazón is Jose Guadalupe Hernandez.
I spoke to that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's one of the most trusted guys from Nazón, his family. Also, his siblings, you know, no, not his siblings, his children, his sons are held in positions of power in administration for many projects in the United States.
Any of those guys, you're welcome. The more people, the better. This producer is looking for anyone from the Light of the World Church who's willing to represent their church, say something positive about their leader, Nazón, or about their doctrine, or anything, whatever you want to say.
It could be even a lawyer, you know, like Giovanni Chacon, the pastor in Pasadena, or
there you go.
This guy, Big Bay Estrada, is a lawyer in Houston, Texas.
Yes, I heard of Big Bay Estrada.
How come they don't come out to defend their apostle in public?
Yes, he's one of the guys on my list. Big Bay Estrada. Why?
Big Bay Estrada.
Yes. Yeah, Mr. Big Bay Estrada. If you're willing to show up right now, not a problem. I'll treat you with respect. I'm going to give you the producer's name and the phone number, and you're going to contact him. And maybe you can speak. You guys just can't. You guys got to stop saying that no one's giving you the opportunity, that it's all biased, that there's a conspiracy. You guys got to stop doing that, because people are starting to wake up now inside the Luz del Mundo church, and they're saying there's something wrong here. I mean, here is the name and the phone number of the producer who's willing to put you on a documentary so that you can show what is the Light of the World Church, what your beliefs are, what you personally think about Nazón. They want to hear it from you. All right. What about Agustin Ahumada?
Well, Agustin Ahumada is also a high-level pastor, but he's actually he lost a lot of power lately, you know. He's still in the Council of Bishops, but he has been relegated, you know, to lower positions. He has no really power, and he has never been distinguished by speaking in public, especially not in media issues.
Okay.
So I don't think he will come out.
You don't think he'll?
Okay. He's old. Well, like myself, no, I'm old, but he's older than myself.
Okay.
Or maybe the same age. But I don't think he would come out, held the capacity to defend the Nazón.
Okay. What about, I don't know if you know these other guys, Antonio Gaona?
Antonio Gaona is also a pastor that holds a high position, but the same as Agustin. Yeah, he's kind of ill. He has many, he has been sick for many. I don't know how to say sickness, but he cannot actually help this kind of relations.
Okay, and we mentioned
still, he could give a statement at least, written statement.
Something, guys. Yeah. Come on, say something for something. Say anything. And what about we mentioned Big Bay Estrada? Okay, Mr. Estrada, if you're willing to come on right now and just show that you're here. We document that, and I will give you his phone number, and you contact the producer, and then you schedule when you can film. So that way you can show your side of the Luz del Mundo in this documentary. And what about, there's a few more, Elias Duran.
Well, Elias Duran is another pastor, longtime pastor, the son of another very he's the son of a member in Santa Maria, California, that used to be like a nursery guy. He owned a nursery in Santa Maria, and he was the gardener for Samuel, very trusted guy, because he used to go to Mexico to decorate the gardens of Samuel, his private quarters. So his sons got the confidence from Samuel to be ministers because of the work of his father. although in the media relations, he has no really, any involvement. But he, as a pastor, should be also willing to defend the position of the church about his disgraced leader at this point.
Yeah, and they're just no one is stepping up. What about Eliseo Duran? Are they related?
Yeah, they're brothers. It's brother with
Okay.
Elias Duran, the same situation.
Same thing.
Yes.
Okay. And
Actually, it is known that his father, the father of Elias Duran, the minister, helped hundreds, if not thousands of people to get papers during the amnesty, the 80s,
oh my
because
goodness. Yeah.
he used to give false documents as a farmers. Even Nason was benefited by this, Nason
Wow.
he got his residency through fake papers from Elias
Oof.
father.
Wow, I'm sure the FBI and the feds
He
want to
used to
hear
be,
that.
according to his testimony, he used to be a chile picker, in the fields of Santa Maria.
Oh my goodness,
imagine
really?
a prince, picking
Yeah,
up chiles in
yeah.
the fields.
Not only that, a prince with phony papers. I'm sure he's going through a federal trial soon, and I I
Yeah,
know.
but I don't think the press is gonna dig into that, because that would be against their own interest, because now he's liable in the United States, because he's an American citizen by law.
Yeah.
So don't worry,
Wow.
Nason. You're
Yeah.
not gonna get rid of
Yeah.
your citizenship, because
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
responsible here.
I wonder why he had fake IDs though. That's something they recovered from his property.
Well, we know their how can I say, their the idea of persecution all the time, the same as Samuel. Samuel was in the feeling that everybody was trying to harm him,
Right.
even his pastors. I
Right.
told you once that he was visiting the basement of the temple in construction, and he asked me when I was showing him the room for ministers, and he asked me, "Hey, where is the back door for me?" So I told him, "Hey, there's two doors, big main doors to you for emergency, No, but
Mm-hmm.
what happened if all the pastors comes towards me trying to harm me,
Yeah. Yeah.
Where am I gonna run?" So he
Sheesh.
ordered right there to me to make a door in the back of the altar, because he wanted to flee to that
Like
door at any
an
point.
like a way of an escape.
Escape, yeah, it was escape door. Yeah.
Wow. 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 I'm sure there's a lot we can talk about. So you think let's see if any of these guys are gonna come up. I'm gonna see if I could put this link here right now. Let's see if there's any members of the Light of the World Church that are willing to show up here. And again, it's not for me to, I'm not gonna critique your doctrine right here. I'm not gonna debate you. That's not what this is for today. We could do that other days. This is just to get you in contact with this producer. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm gonna put it up there. Joel, do you think anyone's gonna respond? What do you think?
Maybe, but I'm not. I don't give you a lot of hope.
You don't give me a lot of hope.
No.
I have as much hope as Nason has of getting out, huh?
Yeah, that somebody is stepping
which
up
which is
for
very
him.
slim. Okay, here it goes. All right, guys. So there is the link if you want to come in and join us. If you're an English speaker, this is only for those people from the Light of the World Church that are willing to come out on this documentary, or that are at
Yeah.
least willing to record. Okay, that's
Showing their faces and showing an ID. They are
yes,
speaking by officially.
yes. We need to know. We need to know that you're here, so that way we can document it. Okay.
We don't
And
want Kazuki.
well,
Well,
I invited him in Spanish and he didn't
oh,
show
okay.
up.
I'm sorry. Well,
Yeah. So give
or
me uh,
Benitez, Cruz Benitez. He would be able. He would feel entitled to defend him, because he does a lot of videos, defending Nason.
yeah, Benitez, Daniel Benitez.
Yeah.
If
Daniel
you want to
Cruz
come out,
Benitez.
Cruz Benitez. I got it mixed up. Well, I'm going through my list here and I'm getting confused here. So let me do this again. So this is for Samuel Gray, Jack Friedman, Joram Joaquin, Silverio Coronado, Luis Cruz, Oscar Gonzalez, Agustin Ahumada, Antonio Gaona, Big Bay Estrada, Elias Duran, Eliseo Duran, Abdiel Joaquin, and you mentioned also which Hernandez did you mention?
José,
Uh,
José, José Guadalupe Hernández.
yes, Jose Guadalupe Hernandez. And what about Silem?
Well,
Silem?
Silem is he's afraid of the spotlight nowadays, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He
Well,
doesn't want to be questioned about the facts and the what happened in that terrible day, you know, in Guadalajara.
yeah. Well, he should. He should be worried. What about Triple G or Menchaca? What about those guys?
I
You
don't
think
know.
you think they'll show up?
Menchaca may be, you know, encouraged to do that, but I don't know if the other members of the council would allow him to speak because, well, he would be actually the most suitable person to defend Nason, Menchaca, because he has
Well,
been side by side with Nason since Nason was an encargado in Hermosa Provincia of the group of the youth. See, he was his right hand all the time, whatever that means, you know,
yeah,
cleaning up after him, the messes and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
What somebody here saying Shaggy Baxville is saying, how about Minister Nick Yanda? YNDA? Inda?
Oh, Nick Inda is a lawyer in Redland, the area of Redlands. He
Oh,
is related to Atlai Joaquin, or he was related to Atlai Joaquin. But as far as I know, he is out of the church
oh,
nowadays.
wow. Wow, that's thank you, Shaggy, for bringing that up. Well, yeah, there you go. Nick Yanda, or how do you pronounce that? YNDA? Inda?
Nick Inda, yeah.
Okay, Nick Inda. If well, you say he's not in the church anymore, but he's still welcome. And we want to hear from we want to hear from people that that are in the know. So okay, so I put up the link here several times and I don't see anyone here. And Raquel says they're not going to show up. They're cowards. Let me see here. What about Montemayor? He speaks well English. That's what they're saying, but I think you're joking around.
I think
No.
his mind is not there anymore.
Yeah, I think I think he's just not there anymore. Thank you, Carlos Beveron. Thank you for being here. Let's see who else. Anybody, guys. So I don't see. I don't know. I don't know, Joel. I don't know why. I know they don't allow them to speak, but surely they got to have some public speakers. You have attorneys here. You have professional people there in the light of the world. You have high-ranking members from this list that we just showed right now. And so this link here is for you to come and join us. Once you join us, I will give you the contact information and the name, and you call the producer. This is so back once again, I was having coffee with this producer, and this is what he mentioned. He said no one from the Light of the World Church was willing to step up. Nobody.
Yes. You know, this is how can I say it unofficially? I heard, right? I knew that the Light of the World, after the all the media frenzy of when the Nason make the plea deal.
Yep.
They hired a PR company of Los Angeles, a very high level PR company to handle the media appearances and stuff. And one of the first instructions to the Council of Bishops and the spokesman from La Luz del Mundo, they were told not to do any more, briefings or conferences in public, because that would damage in anything that they could handle there. They could be feel as biased, and that the church is also involved in the conspiracy to cover up the crimes of Nason. So wow. I know from a good source
Mhm.
They pay at least the $7 million campaign to control damage in the media and in the social media about La Luz del Mundo.
Wow.
So maybe that's the reason, because since that day wouldn't be the best situation or the best occasion to speak in favor of Nazón after the declaration of, after the judge told him that he was guilty because he accepted at least 3 charges. And the media was there, waiting for the representatives of La Luz del Mundo. And they flew from the back door.
Wow.
None of
Nope.
one showed their face in the media that day. We were there
Wow.
with all the media, that was in front of the court. They fled to the back door because they didn't
Wow.
want to be interrogated or questioned about the outcome of the deal, because it wasn't a process or any dealings with the court. It was just a deal, a plea deal.
Wow. Well, this is what I don't understand, because this invitation is for them to say whatever they want to say about the Light of the World Church. They can speak something positive about their teachings. They could say something positive about Nason's character. They could say, like the producer said, they could say whatever they want. He just wants somebody to show up.
Yeah,
But nobody's showing
I
up.
like in the Biggs documentary that they gave space to at least 2 speakers of La Luz del Mundo.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I hate that they gave them the space to tell lies,
Uh-huh.
but at least they allow them to show the world what they really believe, and they are, even though with all the evidence and even the words of the judge, they still believe in him. So
Yeah.
the world knows what kind of
Yeah.
mechanics are in their brains,
Yeah. Well,
So yeah,
that's being fair to them, being fair to them so that people can see what they believe. But for this documentary, no one has responded. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to respond or not. Somebody's mentioning here a person named Warren Mitchell. I don't know if you know who that is.
Warren Mitchell is another is an Afro-American pastor of La Luz del Mundo too. Yeah, very
Okay.
very outspoken, and
Mhm.
is well respected in the community of La Luz del Mundo.
And he speaks English, so he can do this
Oh
too.
yeah. Mhm.
So
Brother Warren,
yeah.
I met him many times in Guadalajara.
Okay. So I'll tell you what, while we wait to see if anybody shows up, can you give us a recap or a summary of what happened today in the
But
Coronado
today
case?
today I didn't attend the
Oh, yesterday. I'm
court.
sorry. Yeah, yesterday.
And since they don't post anything, or not even, I think Isaias Alvarado didn't went today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's gonna go next week or so, but the process continues. The trial is in progress. So
So if you,
today is supposed to be the interrogation, the cross interrogation of the witness number 1, and maybe the presentation of the other 2 um, witnesses, or the detectives that did the interview with them. We don't know, but I
but
haven't
for
read any report or any summary of what happened today.
but for those that don't know what this is, who is this? Who are we talking about, and why is he there? What kind of trial is this? What church is he from?
Yeah, well, this is the trial of a member that was accused of at least 13 crimes
Mm-hmm.
against 3 minors. And he's being judged by the court in San Bernardino, California, the state of California. And they are, showing witnesses and evidence of the charges. He was
And he
accused of,
and
raping or abusing minors.
oh my goodness. He
Of the
was a
his same sex. They were all men or boys at the time.
he was a leader in the Light of the World Church, the Luz del Mundo.
Well, he was an encargado. but he was of big confidence of Samuel Joaquin and also of Nason Joaquin. He used to live in the ranch in a trailer house, the closest to the main house of the leaders. So he was at their disposition, 24 hours, 7 days.
When you say the ranch, what ranch are you referring to?
We are talking about their Ebenezer Ranch in Redlands, California. This is a ranch that the church bought to use it as a camping grounds, to have to held over there parties, to held like campings, and to use it as a training for the youth. So they were bought by the money of the members, but actually is in the property of the Joaquin family nowadays.
Is that ranch related in any way with Nason Joaquin?
Well, he inherited. He lived there also after the death of his dad.
And do you know if Nason Joaquin knows this gentleman, Coronado?
Oh, of course, yeah,
He does, huh?
yeah. He's
Okay.
it's a very well-known family in La Luz del Mundo, the Coronados, and the Joaquin have a lot of confidence in all of them.
So when you went to the courtroom, I think this was a couple of days ago, was there anyone from the Luz del Mundo supporting this person?
No, I didn't see anyone, at least not publicly, there were very few people right there. Actually, I think I was the only one in the public area. The rest were like interns for the prosecution office and also from the public defender office. They looked to me like interns, the law interns, but maybe they were part of the Luz del Mundo. I don't know. I don't know them because they were very young, all of them.
You know, something you were telling me about the that hearing that the defense continuously objected to any mention of this ranch or
Yes,
Nason.
it was very interesting to notice that every time that the prosecutor mentioned the owner of the ranch or the leadership of La Luz del Mundo, the defense lawyer sprang up and say, objection, objection, objection. Every single topic, every single question, objection, objection. And I think like 95% of the objections were overruled by the judge because he explained that they were important they have relation to the case.
And I think the reason she's objecting so much is because they just do not want to have that connection or that tie with their
Yeah, they
client.
want to set apart completely from any responsibility or liability because the crimes occurred in the property, in the premises of La Luz del Mundo, because that ranch belongs to La Luz del Mundo and the leadership. And also to set apart from the responsibility of the leaders, in this case,
Right.
Nason, because Nason used to live there and Abraham Coronado used to live at the side of the house and he was at his service 24/7.
You know, these people say that Nason is omniscient, that he's all knowing. If that is true, if Nason is omniscient, if he's all knowing, then he should have known that these crimes were taking place on his property.
Yeah. The problem is that any way you explain this relationship, it would damage him because if he didn't know, then he's not an apostle of omniscient,
Right.
apostle.
Right.
He knew he's an accomplice and a facilitator, to the crimes of Abraham Coronado.
I mean, there's so much they can ask him. Is it true that you cannot lie, Mr. Joaquin? Is it true that you're a man of God or you're an apostle? He's got to say yes. Is it true that you cannot lie? He's got to say yes because that's what they teach, or else he'll destroy the entire organization. Did you lie when you said you were guilty, or did you speak the truth in your other trial? Was that the truth or was that a lie? What's he going to say? What's he going to say?
Yeah.
If it was the
Remember,
truth, if it was the truth, then he's a liar.
Yeah.
And if it's a lie, then he's a liar. Either way, it just shows you that he's not he can't be trusted. He's unreliable. He's a liar.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Remember that the in the story, well, in the Bible says that when Jesus was in trial in the Sanhedrin, was the tribunal of the Jews, he was asked, "Who are you?" He said, "And what are you doing? What you do?" And he said, "I am here to give testimony of the truth."
Right.
He didn't defend himself. He said, I'm here to tell the truth, to give testimony of the truth. And they were impressed by this response. And one of the judges told him, "What is truth? What is
Wow.
truth?"
Wow. Yeah.
So that is very profound, this statement from Jesus is totally, impressive and very
Absolutely.
profound in his
Authority.
significance for us,
Authority.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Jesus says, I am the way, the
I
truth, and the
am.
life. No one comes to the Father but through me. John 14:6. But Nason said nothing of the sort. He was no testimony to Jesus. He gave nothing of honor to Jesus. He didn't represent Jesus. He didn't speak the gospel like the way the apostles did in the New Testament. They always provided a witness about what Jesus Christ had done. Not Nason. The only thing Nason said was guilty.
Yes.
So, Joel, I see that no one's coming on. I left the links there. They can always contact me too. My email is, let me put it down here, okay? Maybe they're Reyes 440hp at yahoo.com. Okay, this is my email, okay? If you're gonna contact me, you need to contact me here right now because I want to document it. You need to contact me here right now. Come into this Zoom meeting right now with Joel and I, and then we will share this information, or I will share this information with you. That's my email. But so they can always contact me. But either way, we have to document this because no one is stepping up. So let me say something in Spanish, okay? Voy a decir esto en español. Acabamos de ver que ni del mundo habla hispano de la luz del mundo, ni del mundo habla inglés. Hubo al menos uno que está dispuesto a salir en estos documentales profesionales, esta serie de documentales, para que hablen bien de Nazón o de las creencias de la luz del mundo. No hubo ni uno de todos esos hombres o cualquier otra persona que hable inglés. No hubo ningún abogado del habla inglés, ningún abogado del habla español, ni Katsuki, que no quiere decir nada ahorita por su video que salió. So, I think it's clear that no one, I'm going to have to call back this producer and I'm going to tell him, hey, you know what? You were right. Nobody stepped up to the plate to come out in this documentary and say something favorable about Nason or about the Light of the World Church. This looks really bad for you guys. You cannot say that an opportunity was not given to you. You cannot say that the documentary is biased because you are invited to appear in this documentary so that you can give a balanced view, what you think is a balanced view of the beliefs of the Light of the World Church, of your leader, Nason Joaquin. I don't want to hear these complaints anymore because the opportunity is here and you guys are letting it go. You guys have brought a frown on the eye and on the face of Nason Joaquin. Le tienen una tristeza, le han puesto una cara de tristeza a Nason porque ninguno tuvo los pantalones para venir aquí para que puedan hacer contacto con este productor. Nobody, not even one. I don't know, Joel. I think we gave ample time. It's 10:15 already. It's getting kind of late.
Well, they can reach you afterwards because
Yeah.
this video is gonna be hanging there in the internet for many days. So
yeah, they can reach me, but understand that when you do contact me, I'm gonna make a video of that because I need to document that you're contacting me, and I need to make that public, okay? Because if you're going to speak up and stand up for Nason, I'm going to show everybody that you're doing that. Okay? Because then you're going to say that, the opportunity was never given to you. And no, I don't do things that way. So if you're going to contact me, understand that I am going to make a video of that, showing that you contacted me and that I gave you the phone number and the name of this producer. So it's all on you now. And, well, and all I hear is crickets, Joel.
Yes.
All right, Joel, is there anything final you want to say? Any final words?
Well, just wish the members of La Luz del Mundo the best, and they keep praying for God to open and to that God show the truth,
Yeah.
I think there's a saying in La Luz del Mundo, they say, tomorrow God will say who's the saint.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it has been past 4 years already, and God has been talking in many ways, ways. Through the judge, through the victims, through the media, through their own words of Nason, and but they don't listen. They don't want to listen. Like if they are like a Pharaoh, the Pharaoh of Egypt. They harden their hearts to listen to the truth, and don't believe us. Just research, and research. That's the advice of the Bible too. For Jesus, when he said, research, the old ways. You say the old testimonies to see which is the right way.
And First Thessalonians 5:21 says to test all things. So, and in Acts 17, absolutely, Acts 17, you can see that when the apostles showed up, they just didn't blindly believe whatever the apostle said, but they researched, they checked the scriptures to see if everything he was saying was in accord with scripture. Yes. All right, Brother Joel, thank you very much. I don't know if you want to say your goodbyes.
Bye, and we will keep trying to to be informed and to show your public to be also informed in the case how this case progress.
All righty, and when Nason, I hear something about Nason's case, we'll let you know. Maybe you can join me too. We could do it in Spanish when Nason's federal case or trial, whatever, when he has a hearing. Maybe we can update the people on that. Okay.
All right. Okay.
All right, sir. Well, thank you guys. God bless you guys. And we will see you next time. Thank you, Joel. We'll talk later, okay?
Okay, bye.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
God bless you too.